Welcome everyone to Planet of NY Sports. Here we talk Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, and a little bit of the Knicks and Nets. So today, we're going to give you 3 Yankee players who need to step up and 3 Met players who have surprised me. We will do the opposite for the Yankees and the Mets. When Roger comes back, I'm just going to speak over some clips here of the games. And let's get started with the Yankees, shall we? So let's start off with the first guy who I think needs to step up, needs to be better, who we need to see more from if the Yankees, want to make a good World Series run, and that is Gleyber Torres. Okay, Gleyber. I've had my gripes about Gleyber for a few years now. Obviously, defensively, at shortstop wasn't great. Second base, he's okay. Hitting wise, yeah. Sometimes you get some good, sometimes you get some bad. Okay, but let's just start off here. The guy's in the final year of his contract. Okay, he's going to be a free agent after this year. To be honest, I'd be kind of shocked if he is back here because I expect the Yankees to go all out to re-sign Juan Soto. You cannot let that man leave. Now, Torres, you moved him off of the leadoff spot because he was not hitting well. Hitting .203. He hasn't even hit a home run yet. He only has 2 RBIs and 3 stolen bases. That's not good. That is not good. He's also, he's just struggling. I think the problem with Gleyber is he's struggling to make, probably a really low hard hit rate. If I can get it here. Okay. He has a career low, actually. I'm looking at it right now, a 31.4% hard hit rate. And he's only barreled 1 ball this year. That's not good from a guy you usually expect more from when it comes to hitting, especially when his defense, at times leaves a lot to be desired, especially and also sometimes with his base running. I think occasionally, especially last year, he has a lot of instances where he gets really lazy on the bases, but that's a whole nother story. But also, he's been a defensive liability this year. He has a .968 fielding percentage over 143 innings. He's made 2 errors so far. 2. Probably, you can even say, a few more bad throws too. Gleyber needs to get it together. But another guy in the infield who I'm starting to get a little concerned about is Anthony Rizzo. Now, you're probably asking me, Anthony Rizzo? If you're looking at his stats, if you see it from the first glance, you see that he's gonna, he's hitting .274. He has a home run, a few RBIs. His strikeout rate is maybe 19, 20%. Okay, whatever, fine. But here's the thing about Rizzo. In terms of his slugging metrics, he has a 33.3% hard hit rate and hasn't barreled a single ball yet. And this is a guy who last year was not great. At least in the second half. First half, he was great. Second half of the season, he was not great. He was not. And obviously, yes, I know he was playing with the concussion, the whole injury, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I understand that. But he is definitely showing some age. Usually, when these older players, if their power's going down, that usually means a lot. And yes, you could make the argument, maybe he's just working off the rust. Okay. But, if we want to look at other things besides hitting, defensively now, it's starting to look like a problem with him. Usually, you don't expect that from a guy like Rizzo. Right now, he has a .969% defensive percentage, 0 defensive runs saved. This is very unusual from an Anthony Rizzo who usually, is able to scoop balls from all over the place. Pause. But, Rizzo's another guy who really needs to get it together. And then I'm going to move on to a pitcher. I'm going to move on to a certain pitcher here who I've been saying hasn't looked the same in a while. And that is Nestor Cortes. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I love Nestor. I love him as a guy, good, fun pitcher. But here's the thing with him. I don't think he's looked the same since that 2022 season. That's just my opinion. Last year, he was very inconsistent. We're seeing it again this year. He has no put-away pitch. Saw that last year. seeing it this year. I think teams have caught up to what Nestor has been doing. I think teams caught up last year and know, ways to get to him now. He has a 4.5 ERA. He's the thing about Nestor. I can give you all these stats, but I'm not going to do it for him because, he's not walking a lot of guys. He's not giving up a lot of home runs. The thing about him, like I said earlier, he's just really, really inconsistent. And his fastball and his cutter, it's flat and it's weak. And opponents are batting like at least over like probably 260 on it. That's not good. That's not good. Hitters are batting 250 against his cutter. So that means, like I said, he has no put-away pitch. You already know. You already know what Nestor is probably throwing. He's going to go to that fastball, cutter, maybe slider. He'll try to throw you off guard, try to give you a little fancy whatever. Sometimes teams aren't falling for that now. We saw that in 2022, and teams were caught off guard. Teams are definitely ready for it now. Now, moving on to the New York Mets. I will acknowledge one player. This player doesn't actually count for my list, but I have Harrison Bader here. Harrison Bader is a nice surprise for the Mets. I'm just going to acknowledge him because, two Met fans, Roderick and Timmy, wanted me to acknowledge him. Harrison Bader, you're doing well, man. We miss you over here at in the Bronx. But moving on to the three actual players who I think have done pretty well and have surprised me. We can start off with Jose Buta. Okay. I like this guy. And I usually don't say that about Met players. But I like this guy. I like what I'm seeing from this guy. He's made 2 starts already. Against the Royals, he only allowed 2 hits. He had 9 strikeouts. And this is a Royal offense who, mind you, have actually been pretty solid this year. He held it down. And he's been holding it down, ever since Kodai Senga's been hurt. All I'm saying is you have Kodai Senga and you have him. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. Obviously, it's a small sample size, so I'm not going to get too excited. But I think Met fans, I think you guys got a decent, solid pitcher in Jose Buta. Now, moving on to another young guy, I'm going to go with Brett Baty. This was, I would say, a make-or-break year for Baty. Definitely. When I'm looking at Baty, obviously last year he wasn't great. He didn't hit that well. Probably hit like 210, 212, something around there. His defense wasn't great. I'm looking at him this year in 14 games. He's hit over 300, 9 RBIs, 16 hits, and also he had a hitting streak, if I'm not mistaken, and he hit over was it 320 or something? I don't know. I don't completely watch the Mets. I'm a Yankee fan, but I still tune in sometimes. But from what I've seen, he's made some strides defensively, and I've liked seeing that from him. I've liked seeing it. Last year, he had 10 errors. This year, he's been much better defensively. Now, the last player for the New York Mets that I like what I'm seeing is Starling Marte. Another player. This was a crucial year for him. Crucial year. Last year, he only played 86 games. You already know, injuries, blah, blah, blah. He only hit 250, probably a little under that. But we're seeing signs of his own self. Yeah, he's been batting nearly 280 in 15 games thus far, and he's actually been a pretty bright spot in that Mets lineup. Obviously, there's, a certain player that, needs to probably start stepping up. I'm not going to say his name, but he's been that player, Lindor. He's been getting there. But I'll let Roderick speak on him when Roderick comes back. Now, I just did all of that, so I'm just going to preface this out here for all you Knicks fans that might be watching. So we will have a video for you guys on probably Friday or whenever for the Knicks. It will give you guys a preview for the Knicks versus either Heat or 76ers playoff series. We will do that here, and we'll give you guys a preview because I know that's definitely going to be a large topic. We got to talk about that. So we will do that. We'll have that for you guys, and we'll also have some draft content for the NFL, for the Giants, probably the Jets too, mostly the Giants though, as they have the 6th pick. We're going to be focusing on that as well in the next coming days. So if you could all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you all in the next video. Have a nice day, and peace.